Hello, and welcome to the next edition of our Spirituality and Health podcast, which this season we're calling the Decide season. And Decide comes from our use of the letters DECIDE because the topics that illustrate each of those letters come from you and our audience, the things that you've asked us to present to you this season. D is for diet, and that was our first show of the season. And then we did one on exercise, C for community engagement, I for inner development. And today we're going to talk about dreams, which is a very interesting topic to explore. And then we'll finish our season with emotional development. We talk about this decide as an example of how we're theming this season because it is so important that we are making a sincere choice about our lives, make the decisions that we need to make to be the best possible persons that we can be to achieve the goals that are most important and personal to us. Now, life is complicated. We understand that, and many times we aren't able to always implement the choices that we would like. But if we approach our life every day with a sincere intent, a sincere commitment, then we really can reap terrific benefits. I know this from my own spiritual journey because I find that every moment of my life, I have the opportunity to make one kind of a choice or another. And every time I make the right choice, it becomes so much easier the next time to make another right choice. And when I put all of the aggregate of those individual right choices together, my life is so much more beautiful, so much more peaceful, so much happier, and so much more fulfilling as I find that I'm walking consistently along the road of my journey to self fulfillment. And so we're happy to share that with you. Today, we're going to talk about dreams. And dreams are really an interesting topic to kind of explore. I was reading a really interesting book, which I would recommend to some of you if you have the time to read it. It's called My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She Is Sorry by Frederick Backman. And it's a book all about dreams and imagination. And the main character is is someone who is a friend who likes dreams very much. Well, I'll tell you, I like dreams very much too. And I hope that you do as well. And by the end of the show, maybe we will encourage you to be more involved in your own dreams. So we're going to talk today about what are dreams. We're going to talk about where do they come from? Who makes our dreams for us? We're going to touch a little bit on why are dreams important and what can they mean for our lives. And then finally, we'll get into some detail on how we can achieve the best personal dreams that will enhance our lives and how they can help us to transform those dreams into reality. Well, there are, I think, three kinds of dreams that we might focus on. Number one, what are dreams? They are the unconscious thoughts that we all know that we have when we're asleep. Now, uh, it is fascinating to me when I, as a physician, think about the neurobiology of dreams, and you realize just how many parts of the brain are engaged when we're asleep and we have dreams. Sometimes we are conscious of our dreams, and sometimes we're not. But the whole brain is active during our dreams, from the brain stem all the way through to the cerebral cortex. Most of our dreams occur when we have rapid eye movement sleep, which is controlled by a special part of our nervous system called the reticular activating system. Now, there's not going to be a quiz on all these science terms, but I just wanted to give you a sense that how engaged our brains are, even though we don't know it. They go all the way from the base of our brain, circuits running through the brain stem, through the thalamus to the cortex. The limbic system in our midbrain, which deals with emotions, is activated in dreaming. And a special part of it called the amygdala, it gets engaged when we are experiencing dreams where we have fear. Our cortex, our thinking part, is responsible for the content of our dreams. That's where the monsters live that we flee from and the people we meet or the experience of flying. And then our visual cortex is also active as well as other parts. The point being, the process of dreaming when we're asleep is very complex. And I think what I'm excited about as science learns more about the brain, I think we're going to learn an awful lot about the meaning of consciousness through the science as it advances in understanding how the brain works. But that's probably a topic for another day. As I said, we're not going to turn you into neurobiologists today. But I do want to talk about the second kind of dreams. And these are the dreams that are unconsciously programmed in our minds, this idealized future that others initiate for us. The commercials that we are bombarded with every day, the social media, all of the kinds of things that people want to make us think uh, ought to be our dreams, our idealized future, whether it is finding the perfect mate, whether it's a George Clooney or his extraordinary wife Amal. These are like unbelievable people who are brought to us as princesses and princes, and we sort of dream and say, maybe I want that to be the life I have. I want the perfect mate, and I dream of that. Maybe it's the dreams that are continuing to push us to make lots and lots and lots of money, that stimulate our sense for greed and ownership. We need to live perhaps in the perfect house, or go to the perfect dream vacation, or drive the perfect car, or as some publications say, you should go for the best of the best of the best of the best. All of these kinds of images that people put in our heads and suggest that these are the things that if we just had these things, our life would be wonderful. Our life would be a walking dream. And a lot of us fall prey to that kind of programming. And then when we don't get to those things, when we don't have them, we feel somehow that we're we're missing something. That because we don't have the perfect or the best of all, that our lives day to day don't have value, which of course is crazy and insane. Many people, after they have acquired some of these things, and they work so hard to acquire that big dream, the big house, the fancy car, then they look around and ask themselves, now what? What do I do now? I've got these things, but quite frankly, I really don't feel that much happier. There's got to be more than that. And so there's that empty feeling. The third kind of dream is the one that we really get excited about. And these are the dreams that we consciously imagine, and that we cherish this for our own future. These are dreams where we decide, I feel an urge to put on wings and soar to my highest, that I am in touch with the things that drive me, that mean things to me, that animate me. They could be things as grand as putting on wings and flying to the moon. They could be things that are much simpler and much more attainable, but they come from within us. All power to the imagination as we begin to use our imagination and imagine and visualize, who is the person that I really want to be? What is it that makes sense for me? Where is my joy and happiness? Where can that be found? Not on somebody else's terms, but on my terms. And that becomes so key. Well, dreams are so important, and they mean so much for our lives. Once we get a chance I know from my own journey that once I got to be able to pull back the flaps of the tent and saw inside, just a glimpse of the beauty of being connected to the divine, being connected to universal consciousness, being just a little bit connected to that fantastic, marvelous world that is out there, then of course I've never been the same. And so dreams can really change us once we've been able to see just a little, all it takes, just a little. And then all of a sudden we're finding ourselves on our way. The great spiritual teacher, Ilchi Lee, has a wonderful quote, which I enjoy. He says that hopes and dreams are the greatest stimuli we can give our brains. Our brains are highly active when our lives have purpose, direction, and plans. And so once we are feeding our brains with our own self-directed imagination, our own self-directed dreams, then our brains start to really click in. It gets excited, it gets energized, and it becomes a partner with us as we go along our way, faster and faster and faster. And so the question for us becomes, what is our soul's dream? What is the dream that is inside of us? Well, how can we achieve these personal dreams that will enhance our lives? Yesterday, I was working out outside, and enjoying doing my exercises out in nature. And it was. And I live in Atlanta, and yesterday it was just a beautiful day. Blue sky, white puffy clouds, and as I was laying on my back doing my sit-ups, and I got really tired after a moment, I decided to just lay there. And I just looked up at the sky, and I felt like a kid again, watching the clouds float by. And I was imagining all kinds of animal shapes for the clouds. And this one looked like a dog, and this one looked like a pony. And it was just amazing. And they kept moving and shifting. And I found myself getting hypnotized by just watching these clouds moving. And my mind emptied. And then I became aware of the squirrels running around. And I became aware of the sun beating on me. And I became aware of a gentle breeze as it blew past my face. And then I heard the birds chirping. And all of a sudden, I had this incredible experience of the interconnectedness of all created life. And I could feel that I was just one part of a much bigger whole. And my mind just expanded with that thought. And I just found myself going into the greatest kind of dream trance that I've had in a long time. And, it made me just sort of wonder, why do I wait so long to do these kinds of things? Why is it so hard to just be a kid again and take time and just lay on your back and look up? So please, if you do nothing else from this show, if there's anything else that you forget everything else, just remember this one thing. Regularly go outside, lay on the grass, and look at the sky and empty your mind and dream. Doesn't cost any money. And by the way, there's not going to ever be a commercial about it because nobody can make money off of you doing it. But you'll have more fun than anything that they can offer you on television or at the movies. And that becomes so important. We also know that as we do that, we need to, if we're going to get to where we're going with our dreams, we have to go inside and then close our eyes. So I talked about this sense that I was looking and being mesmerized with being one with the outside. But then I noticed that I was able to transcend and transition that into being inside. So take the time to close your eyes and go within. Use your imagination now that you're relaxed and you're thinking, you're not thinking, but you're just in the moment. Now turn that imagination into dreaming the dream for you. And what is the biggest dream that you can dream for yourself? Imagination should be used to help us to shape our future and then apply our deep understanding of life to accept where we are in each moment and then move forward. So, imagination, all power to the imagination. And I hope that you will understand that and remember it. Imagination takes us to this ecstatic joy of spiritual connectivity, which I really find to be the most satisfying of dreams. Chasing after material desires is like eating cotton candy, isn't it? It evaporates pretty quickly and ultimately leaves you feeling empty compared to the lasting joy of connecting to your true self, to divine intelligence. I enjoyed making this slide because all I needed to do was to look at that picture of the meditating Buddha amidst the flowers and compare what that looks like to a guy holding a bag of money. I mean, which one would you choose? I mean, of course, we all need enough money to survive, and there's nothing wrong with, working to get the things you need for your life. But to think about a money bag, greedy kind of person, or somebody with a gold wing car, if that's what you're chasing after, versus the simple, beautiful joy of connecting your true self to divine intelligence, they really don't compare. And the visual image, I think, makes the point that I would leave you with on that. So many of us ask ourselves, as I mentioned earlier, is this all there is? Do we really need to keep measuring ourselves by how much stuff we have, or how famous are we or not, or our social success or lack thereof? Do we continue to seek our value in the ever changing external world? Or do we seek our value in the impressions that we think others have of us? Do they like me? Am I keeping up with the Joneses? Do I have what they have? What a fruitless way to live our lives. It really isn't a secret, but we do need to be reminded from time to time that the true meaning of life lies not in the material world, but it lies inside of ourselves, in our true selves. And I hope that we never forget that and never get on that treadmill or act like the little hamster turning the wheel and turning the wheel, chasing after somebody's idea of dreams. And instead, we take our time and meditatively walk as we go after our own dream. When I look back over my life, Ilchi Lee says, I realized that the driving force behind all of my dreams and my vision was my true self. Being connected to his true self is really what motivated his real dreams. And so getting in touch with that true self and being present in the now is what enables us to hear that deep voice within, the inner guidance of our soul. I think that's really key, isn't it? How we can now sort of take the moment in our lives to be connected to the now, to right this moment, not dreaming or being hung up on what happened last week or the week before, or who did something wrong to me, or what I have or I don't have. Just being in the now is really what it's all about, and listening to the inner guidance of our true self, of our soul. When we tap into this divine intelligence, we're able to make clear choices and create the future of our dreams. When we awaken to the now, then we're able to become the master of our emotions and the commander of our brains. We talked about what dreams were when you go to sleep at night, and we saw the whole brain gets active when that happens. Well, the whole brain is involved in all of the dreams, whether it's unconscious dreams or conscious dreams. And so we have to realize that we need to become the master of our emotions and the commander of our brains by feeding it good information, good thoughts, planting, feeding the good seeds that are in our brain. And then we have to be able to change the information from the past so we can program our vision of the future, creating our own dreams for our own future. Well, we talked about this sense of my true self. And so I just want to remind us all about what we mean when we say that. What we mean when we say my true self is the me before there was a me, the me before I was in this physical body, the sense that there is a part of me, an element of me that is timeless, that has always been and always will, but that it's occupying this particular physical body now. Discovering who I truly am is the work of the greatest imagination and leads to the greatest of dreams. Being able to say to one and all, after you've been able to discover it and get hold of it, I am me, real me, not all the illusions, but the timeless, wonderful essence of me. Now, when you contemplate an idea like that, now you really are having a wonderful dream and terrific use of your imagination. Our dreams should encompass the welfare of all sentient beings. For millennia, James Redfield and his colleagues have said, poets have envisioned times and places in which people lived with joyous accord. Philosophers have long dreamt of good societies and activists in many fields who have embodied such dreams in programs for creative cultural change. We believe that the aspiration for social transformation implicit in such visions and activities is essential to the greater life pressing to be born in us. This drive, this call has long been expressed in the dreams of humankind. And Those who have been on this walk that we've been having together this season know that a big part of the themes that we talk about is the sense of being our best so that we can be in service to others, that we try to make ourselves realize the fullest extent of our own individual potential so that we can in fact share those blessings with all that we meet. And I think this quote from James Redfield and his colleagues is very important in that regard, because those who have made the most impact positively in changing the world have always had this sense of a dream where good people, positively motivated, use their talents and skills to create the world in which we would really all like to live. And so we want to make sure that as we talk about dreams in this show, that we're talking about not only our individual dreams, but the collective dream we have for all of humankind, for all sentient beings, so that together we can bring the best of our ideas and have a world that we all want to live in. I think this is particularly important to many of us as we go through these very challenging and troubling times with so much anger and divisiveness and discord. And quite frankly, I think most of us who are aware would suggest that these aren't very good times to be living in. These aren't the times that we are seeing the world that we would like to live in. But instead of being upset and frustrated and angry, we take the time to close our eyes, imagine the world that we want to live in, imagine the dream that can bring all of us people of goodwill together, and then we work in harmony to get that done. Well, let me close our show with some summary tips that might help, that might make sense to you to get to have the kinds of dreams that will fulfill you, that will make you joyful, make you happy, help you to be the person that you are trying to be, and help to create the world that we want. Number one, avoid unconsciously programmed, idealized futures inflicted on you by others, i.e., stop listening to the dumb commercials. Don't let other people's idea of what your life should be, don't let that be the thing to drive you. Beware of friends and even family who try to impose their dreams onto you. Beware of commercial interests who try to program your mind with artificial dreams that require you to purchase material things to chase after their false ideas of happiness. Consciously imagine and cherish your own ideal hope for your future. Consciously imagine and cherish your own ideal hope for your future. After all, it's your life. Don't let anybody else be the ones to drive your life. Remember, we already have everything we're looking for inside of us. No need to go running after things. Go inside first. If I want to be amused and entertained, I'll tell you, I go sit quietly in a room, close off all distractions, and go within. The places my mind goes are so beautiful and so wonderful. There's no TV show that could possibly take me where I go inside. I already have everything I'm looking for inside. I just have to be patient and learn how to discover it. Actively stimulate your brain with nurturing from your hopes and your dreams. Harness the pure energy of the soul that comes from loving kindness, unconditional love, gratitude, and compassion. And reject the emotions of desire that come from wanting and pursuing and acquiring things. You just harness pure energy. Best way to do it? Loving kindness, unconditional love for everyone you meet, and compassion, compassion, compassion. I guarantee you, you plug those into your mind, your dreams will soar like a rocket. Avoid nurturing the negative seeds that are already planted in your brain. Remember, seeds blossom from their own kind. So if you've got negative seeds in your brain and you keep watering, you're going to have a lot of negative thoughts. And you have a lot of negative thoughts, you're not going to have any room to dream beautiful dreams. So stop watering the bad seeds, only water the good ones. Remember, all power to the imagination. Close your eyes in a quiet place and let your mind just wander wherever it wants to. Read more and watch less TV. Make a sincere commitment for personal reflection time every day to be in touch with your true self. Meditate and listen to the little voice within. Now you're busy. Oh my gosh, you're so busy. I know how busy you are because I know how busy I am. But even the most busiest of all of us, even 10 minutes a day, if that's all you have, then that's your 10 minutes. And don't you deserve 10 minutes to be happy? Don't you deserve 10 minutes to sit and let your mind wander, let your imagination take hold, let yourself dream the dream for yourself? Don't you owe just 10 minutes to yourself? Now, by the way, you might want to go ahead and take the whole hour. Nobody will object, and we hope you do. Be in touch with your body and your feelings as you seek to discover true self. Remember, your body is always in the here and now, not in the past, and it certainly can't be in the future. It's always here. So if you want to know where you are, be in touch with your body. Consciously seek to connect and interconnect your daily life with your spiritual dream life. That's right. Sometimes there's a gap between your reality and your dream life. And so the more you're working on getting to where you want to go, eventually that gap will close and eventually they will become one. Just stick to it, stay at it. Associate yourself with people who take you and your dreams seriously. And if you run into some of those negative people, those people are always mad, don't want anybody to succeed, don't want anybody to be the best they can be, get rid of those people, move away. You don't need them. Associate yourself with people who take you and your dreams. And anybody that steps on your dream, that's not somebody you need to be around. Move away. See ya. I got other things to do. Ask yourself this question: how much of myself am I willing to invest in pursuing my dream? Are you serious about this? Take the walk and be serious. And finally, dream dreams that are larger than yourself. Stretch, imagine, imagine. Well, I have a friend who likes dreams very much. And I hope I've made a few new ones today who are friends of mine now who like their dreams very much. We're so excited that you took the time to be with us today on our journey. And I hope that you will. Some of these will help you to do the things that you need to do along the way, so that you can be the best possible person that you can be, the happiest person, the person who knows who they are, who discovers their true self, and lives every day in the glory and the wonder of it all. Catch a cloud, take a ride on a magical carpet ride throughout the rest of your life. See you next time. Take care and bye bye.